Hello and welcome. Today's project is all about the 5 things anxiety sufferers do not want to hear. Now, this is a really important video because you may be running a bunch of unconscious programs that keep on fueling your anxiety cycle. And videos like this one and others that I do, such as your symptoms, your thought patterns, your beliefs, your feelings with anxiety, those are important videos. I love doing them because they shine a light on these unconscious processes. And when an anxiety sufferer watches that video or watches this video, what happens is they have a paradigm shift. I can't believe I'm thinking that way. Or could my thought patterns, like Brad is saying, be causing my anxiety? Is this really anxiety, not a real illness? And then they can begin to work on the path of healing. And then they'll go to my other videos like tools, techniques, strategies to overcome anxiety. Now, the 5th thing anxiety sufferers do not want to hear is, you don't look too good. What happens? Well, an anxiety sufferer, their emotional glass is overflowing with baggage, right? Any little unknown thing that comes their way, they react. Their lid blows off. They go to catastrophic thought number 1, right? And if they are thinking that they are unhealthy, if they are obsessing over a certain feeling or sensation as being an illness, right? Then when somebody comes along and says, you don't look too good, it only cements in the belief that, yeah, I am unhealthy, right? And so it may be true. You may not look good. You might be lacking sleep. You might be malnourished and not eating enough, and you running around and your stress response is through the roof, and so you're looking ragged and burnt out. Well, that may be true, but when somebody says that, well, they immediately go, yeah, I am unhealthy. It cements in their belief, because what they pay attention to the most is what they value. So they value the state of their being, this illness, their health, the way that they're feeling, and then they put everything else on the back burner. They put their work, family, their relaxation time, their quality time. They put all of that on the back burner because they're running around trying to solve this underlying problem. The 4th thing anxiety sufferers do not want to hear is others talking about health problems. So you might be in public and you might overhear somebody talking about someone dying of cancer. Or you might be in your car, on the radio, an advertisement, something about a disease. Or you're at home in the other room and you hear the TV and you hear about a commercial about a health problem, and it spikes your anxiety. You feel all of those sensations. Well, like I said before, remember, where you're placing your attention the most throughout your day is what you value. So if you're Googling your symptoms, talking about your symptoms, going to your doctors multiple times, you're lying in bed thinking about your strange sensations, well, you only filter in outside information that fits with your values, right? So if you hear somebody talk about cancer, what do you know? That topic, that category fits. It's like a puzzle piece fitting into your map of the world, right? Your map of the world is traversing the plane of this potential health concern, right? And that's really interesting. The 3rd thing anxiety sufferers do not want to hear is, I don't know what's wrong with you. And when you hear something like that, it only seems like what you're experiencing is unique to you and nobody else, right? Anxiety sufferers experience this when they go to the doctors. What happened in my past when I went to the doctors and my doctor said, hey, Brad, everything checks out. You're fine. You don't have, at the time, I think I was checking on a UTI. They said, Brad, you don't have a UTI. And that made me go, but I really believe I do because Google said so. And well, when the doctor says you don't have that thing, it only blows apart your map of the world, because they're saying one thing and you feel a totally different way. And so it's like a bumping of heads, right? So your map is saying something's wrong, but the doctor is saying something completely different. And you secretly want, unconsciously, you want the doctor to say, okay, Brad, you have this UTI. Because it'll be like, yes, let's treat it. I know what it is. I can solve the problem. But if they say, well, you check out, everything is good, well, that only keeps you in the unknown. And it wasn't until I found out I was suffering from this thing called health anxiety that I was able to get out of the unknown and get to the known unknown, which is a territory that's familiar. Okay, it's anxiety. That's a relief to me because I thought it was like many other of these things I Googled, right? It's a damn good relief. But now I need to learn about anxiety, right? And that's when I started to walk this path of recovery. Now, the second thing anxiety sufferers don't want to hear is, you will always be like this. You are who you are. And I'm here to say people can change, right? We can strengthen circuits by repetition. So what that means is you can decrease already formed pathways. So imagine there's a giant cable in your mind, right? And the cable is made up of tiny wires. And so each wire represents a habit, right? You start to break one habit, you start to break a little bit of the wire until eventually the cable starts unraveling and it's just one thin wire, right? So if you've been entertaining anxiety producing thoughts, negative thoughts, beliefs, you've been running an program that hasn't been working for you, you don't feel mentally strong and healthy and balanced, well, it's time to look at the tiny wires, the small habits, and change these small habits. And if your life gets 1% better every day, then in a year from now, you'll be in a totally different scenario. And that's because you're changing your neural pathways. You're changing your circuits. So when somebody says you can't change, that only means that they believe that people can't change. So the solution is be around people, subject yourself to people who changed, who are changing, who support this molding of character, who support self-growth and development. Be around those people. The more you watch my videos, the more you listen to my podcast, the more you are changing your values, the more you are learning and growing and rewiring those circuits in your mind's eye. And you're changing pathways. You're telling your unconscious mind, this is what I value. When you watch these videos, when you meditate, when you journal, when you are spending time in nature, quality time with your partner, you're telling your unconscious mind, this is what I value, right? So keep that in mind when somebody says something like that that we are who we are. Well, that's not true. Our brains are neuroplastic. We can rewire these pathways, and over a period of time, we can completely change our whole personality. I can attest to that. The first thing anxiety sufferers do not want to hear is, just relax, you'll be fine. Well, first of all, is it really that easy? Just relax, everything will be fine. You know, go with the flow is another one I don't like at all. Also, I don't like, there's another one, don't sweat it. These don't work because an anxiety sufferer feels like, well, when will I be fine? I'm not fine. I haven't been fine in months or decades. I've been in the same pattern, doing the same things. And when somebody says that, they feel like they're alone. Because if it's really that easy and I can't do it, I feel more alone. Anxiety sufferers feel trapped and they feel alone and they feel like what's happening to them is unique. But like I mentioned before, when you learn that this is anxiety producing the sensations, or this is anxiety that's making you feel this way, and you understand the patterns of an anxiety sufferer, the thought patterns, the beliefs, the actions, then you get that paradigm shift of, oh, yes, it's anxiety. I'm not unique and crazy, and this is common. And what did Brad do to overcome this anxiety? And you start to learn and grow, right? Absolutely crucial. So share this video, share my channel with somebody who you know is currently struggling and battling with this anxiety, and leave your comments below. Is there anything else that I've missed? Is there any other thing anxiety sufferers do not want to hear? What do you not like to hear from other people when you feel like you're trapped in this cycle of anxiety? And lastly, do not let anxiety define who you are. I will see you on the next video. Bye for now. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that bell so that whenever a new video of mine appears, you will be one of the first to know. Namaste.